we're seeing now predictions for the final. And we see that Master has a 100% vote at the moment over Killer Kiwi Juice. So if you go to esports.com and look under the stream and vote for who you think is going to win the first round of the final. Right now, all the votes are in for Master, and to be perfectly honest, I agree. I think Master has been playing absolutely spectacularly today. He's been playing really well. He's won numerous games that we didn't expect him to win. I didn't think he'd beat Matiz. I didn't think he'd beat. I didn't think he'd beat Matiz. I didn't think he'd beat Aladea, and he's won both. And so now I have to say, I think he's going to beat Killer Kiwi Juice.
Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, our wild card was taken out whilst we were having that previous game. Our wild card, Gregorian Monks, did fall to Killer Kiwi Juice on the third game on Berg. So unfortunately for him, he is now out of the running. We now have our two finalists, Killer Kiwi Juice and Pag Master, who are going to be playing for the grand prizes.
Yeah, so both players are taking a short break, having just finished their semi-finals, which I think was in itself rather grueling, especially for Killer Kiwi, who's just played through a series of 3 games. So they're taking a short break. So while they're doing that, let's just take a look at what they're going to be playing through on this time. So we're going to see some Pacific action first. And we've seen Killer Kiwi play on that where he lost to Burnt Custard. So I have to say on Pacific, I very much favour Pag Master. I think we've seen a stronger naval game from Master than we've seen from Kiwi. And then on to Duat, which is the first time we'll have seen Duat in this tournament, which is also, might I add, my least favourite map of all time. But now that I found that Miso was a system editor issue, I can safely say that Duat has probably been subject to the biggest changes.
Excellent.
Yep, it used to be all about taking the hill and claiming all the metal there, and that is no longer the case because half of the metal has disappeared off that hill. I think it used to have about 8 metal spots, and now it's only got 4. They have been spread out to make a lot more of the map contestable than it used to be. When we get on there, there's a section of the map that still has as much metal as it used to have, and I think it's going to become far more of a focal point where there's about 6 metal in one spot. But Duat can become a very siegey map. It's very hard to break into someone's base. And after that, on to Miso, which we just saw. And I still expect it to be won by the land. I still think Miso is a map that's won by the land, and naval is a support rather than what claims the game. Although, as we saw, you're going to have to use your air rather differently. Then we have Berg, the docks heavy map, and that's something where we're going to see. I still expect to see more docks play around the back there. I'm surprised that we've actually seen so many tanks. Maybe we're just seeing me being out of touch with the meta there. I expect to see more raiding from docks around the back. I've been really surprised by how light the docks play on there has been. We've seen a lot of bowler heavy play.
I think, to be honest, Doc's play has been fairly well counted in every single match we've seen so far. Really, it just doesn't carry well through away from the early game.
Well, Docs have been nerfed ever so slightly in this patch. They did get a 10% speed loss in this patch, so perhaps that really taken their toll. I think a lot of people were surprised to see that. Docs previously considered to be reasonably well balanced. On the other hand, we have seen in previous tournaments where you mess up Docs, you just assist them, and then they could roll over everything. So perhaps they just need to find their place. It's very early days in the balance. I think we've learned from previous patches that you don't want to call the meta too early.
Absolutely not.
That leads to situations where it's like, this is unbalanced, and then suddenly Vanguards have been nerfed and no one builds Vanguards anymore. And then lastly, if we get to our last game of 5, we're going to see Forge in action again, which may be, I think, one of people's favourite maps. You see people play that one all the time, and indeed I think after Miso, Forge might be my second favourite map. Maybe Berg, but Forge is a great map. You see all sorts of play happening there.
We have had some very good games on Forge this evening, in fact.
Yes, it's a map where you see lots of different ways of playing, and whether or not you expand to your left or expand to your right can completely change the outcome of how that system plays. But I have to say, given what you've seen of these two players so far, who do you fancy for this?
Oh, now there's a question. I feel that they're looking at the maps and the players. It's difficult to call. I would like to say that I think that Killer Kiwi has what it takes to pull this off. He's been on holiday. He's had a very strong showing so far, but I'd like to think that Killer Kiwi has the consistency to pull this off, whereas Master can be a bit haphazard at times.
Yeah, I think Master can overextend himself, and we saw actually it's going to be two very different styles. Master loves his aggressive play, really aggressive play, and Killer Kiwi Juice, very conservative, slowly grinds his opponent down. It's going to come down to whether or not Master can get the early wins necessary. But I think Master has the skills to take him. I have to give my vote. And if I add my vote now, in fact, I give my vote to Master. I think he's. I think he's got. Yeah, I think he's going to take it. I think it's just going to be slightly better.
Now, it remains to be seen. Looks like our players are getting ready to hop into the game, and then we shall find out for ourselves. So, what do the viewers think? Viewers on ExodusEsports.com, on your little voting panels, what have you decided to go for in your masses?
It's a 50-50 split right now between Kiwi and Master, which I think is that's rather good. I think it shows that we've really got two top players here as we launch into our first game, the best of 5 and the final of the Evil Twins finals from ExodusEsports.com, here between Killer Kiwi Juice and Pag Master. Both of them competing for a first prize of $80, with the runner-up getting a prize of $30. These were approximate prices because it's all in pounds, but I know that a lot of our audience won't know what the hell that conversion is.
It's about 160 at the moment, isn't it?
That's right. It's a prize of £50 and £20, so that converts to about $1 million each.
That's
probably Australian.
No, Zimbabwean dollars.
Here we go. We're into the first game on Pacific between Killer Kiwi Juice and Peg Master, as we see Master going for the early naval and
the early troll as well.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a piranha come out of that, and we see a bot factory come from Killer Kiwi. Kiwi's tired. We just don't make the young folk like they used to. Oh, surprisingly, a Faber coming out from Master.
Really?
Really surprised to see that. I must say, I would have expected to see a piranha and some more aggressive plays. Yeah.
I bet there's a piranha coming out next. I bet there is.
Maybe.
Really?
Yep, piranha next. You called it, son.
I should have put money on that. Well, I don't know if you'd have bet against me.
The piranha coming out second? No, I'd have said piranha second. And if it wasn't piranha second, I said piranha third. But yeah. Oh, he's not moving to attack though. He's moving to defend against Kiwi attacking him. Yeah, I don't think that's much of a danger. I don't expect to see any really early aggression. And we don't. We see a couple of Fabers, combat Faber, naval Faber, and then a narwhal, which indicates he's probably going to protect the Faber with that. I think he's playing a far more defensive game, as we've seen from Kiwi previously. He's gonna play it slow and cautious. But now Padmaster's moving out with his piranhas, sweeping across the back of the planet here, and we see a couple of torpedo launchers placed. I'm not sure he's placed them, but someone's making a really aggressive grab out there.
Meanwhile, we see Killer Kiwi making good use of the tree economy, whereas I don't actually think that Master has placed any ground units yet. He's about to build a bot factory, so he's obviously thinking about grabbing some of those tasty trees.
I think we're going to see Master's going to go and try and own. He's going to go for the air game. He's already got air Faber out there. It's a risky play. Enemy just sweeps one fighter through, and that's it. Suddenly you've taken a major Faber loss. We see the piranhas now of Pagmaster closing in on the two Fabers, but I think that narwhal's going to be enough to hold it. That narwhal
should be plenty. If he, the wiggling,
the torpedoes.
You can't out-wiggle the torpedoes.
Exactly.
You can't out-wiggle the torpedoes.
Yep. If they just come in at the same time, I think he'd have scored a Faber kill there, but it came in just didn't quite time it right.
No. Close though. One of them is down to 20%, which is a single hit, I think, from the piranha, which does that.
Yes, it almost got the kill. By the looks of it, I think they may have spread their fire as well. So if it just hit the same Faber, he'd have got a kill. But that's nice.
No, just poor plays all round. Bomber's now coming in to try and take out the combat fabricator.
No, he should have got the combat Faber. Oh, what's
he doing?
Oh, look at that. He got two. The micro is real. He's scored a couple of combat Fabers. That's a nice early pickup, and as we see, absolutely no aggression from Kiwi.
Really, of the two, he ought to have gone for the combat fab because the other fabricators have done their job. They've built the metal extractors. They were now pretty much useless on that land. The combat fab, however, can still gather some more tree economy, which he could have denied.
Yeah, I think he just saw the numbers and went for it. I'm just surprised that Kiwi is just doing so little against Master. Let's see. He hasn't even visited Master's base yet. He has absolutely no idea what Master is building.
That's interesting.
So yes, it's intelligence gathering is not so good. But on the other hand, he shut down Pegmaster's attempt to take the central island. Not surprisingly, the air fab are getting shot down. Air fabbers always seem great up until the point where you build them, and then some guy switches to one fighter and takes them all out. On the other hand, there's nothing better than the feeling of sweeping through someone on Pacific and finding they went with 4 air fabbers and killing them all. It's a great feeling. Unfortunately, it's usually a feeling that happens to me.
Looks like those docks are now on area patrol on that big central island, taking pot shots at those planes. Not really doing too much, but just making them think, maybe I shouldn't be here. Bomber, on the other hand, coming past is dropping a few bombs in the ocean nearby.
Yeah, it's going to move on because they're patrolling docks. It takes them forever to kill them. And we'll just see, PM Master. Here it is. He's making these aggressive plays with the torpedo launchers on the back of the planet. If he can lock that down, it can be really hard to push a defensive line of torpedo launchers away, at least in the early game.
Just no action here from Kiwi whatsoever. He really, really, really needs to get in on and start harassing, because Master's just doing what he pleases, and you can't allow your opponent to do that this long through the game. We're 5 minutes in. Yeah,
I think we're saying again, like when he was playing against Burnt Custard, that Kiwi is not as comfortable on the ocean, whereas Master clearly knows his ocean game. He's all over the place. He's locking down torpedo launches. He's made some aggressive piranha play. Now he's pushing in with narwhals, and there's a Faber here building a radar, and I don't think that radar is going to last all that long.
Unfortunately not, but let's see how the health looks in those narwhals. Yeah, that's going to be fair. He's not actually pushed in as aggressively as he could have done. Very cautious, actually, rather than being much more aggressive, which he could have been.
Well, PA Master is grabbing. He's doing his tree economy, but he's not got the factories to make use of it. So frankly, he's just floating everything that he's grabbing from the trees. He needs to be getting his factories up a bit more aggressive to make use of that. And indeed, despite the fact that he's been making all the plays, both players very equal. Same number of factories, almost the same number of units, but Kiwi has way more fabbers. He is really expanding everywhere that Master is not.
But at the same time, he's not got very good decisive military presence on the map, whereas Master, I think, has got very much a controlling influence. He's initiating on everything here. He's controlling the fights.
Well, but on the other hand, as long as Kiwi can keep expanding out like this, he's slowly placing down his torpedo launchers. He's put one down on this flank. He's got one over here. He was driven off on the other side, but again, if he takes that, if he puts if he puts a torpedo launch down over here as well, he could really make life difficult for PA Master.
Well, so I mean, really, what I would like to see is a Pelican dropping a fabricator on the central islands.
I think both players look relatively happy just sort of owning these islands and stopping their opponent building on them. Neither of them actually making any attempt to claim it. And I think I don't think there have been enough docks to take out a narwhal. It's actually possible over on these islands here to sit up on these tiny little bits of land and pick off things like that Faber with your docks. It's the most frustrating experience in the world to have that happen to you.
But at the same time, as you correctly identified earlier, one of the most satisfying things to be able to pull off correctly.
Yes. Well, we'll see the first real naval competition going on here. PA Master having a much better presence here. He's going to come out. He's going to come out far better from this.
Very much on top.
Yep. And bring his bomb presence in again. Yeah, Kiwi's starting to look a little pressure. But on the other hand, on the other side of the planet, he's owning all the mechs behind the bases. It's the open ocean and belongs to PA Master, but Kiwi's claiming his own mechs on the other side.
Kiwi is doing very, very well on the eco expansion here. Very, very well indeed. I would like to see him establish presence on that central island because he's got the docks patrol there. He's got control over it essentially.
I think both players are staying relatively even. Well, in actual fact, we see that Kiwi's starting to get a substantial unit advantage, though. I don't know if that's in docks, though. I suspect that it is. They look pretty much the same on the naval front. I think that's primarily docks. But yeah, neither player seems to have the advantage. PA Master's pushing in, but Kiwi's holding his own. I think we could be seeing a long game going on here.
It certainly seems that Kiwi has held out for the long game. So early game, it did look like he was going to keep on the back foot, but he's doing okay here. Although we're now seeing another aggressive force coming in from PA Master, and it's going to push him away from this mech's field, I think.
Yeah, an unfortunate positioning of the torpedo launcher there, with that island blocking its shots.
Yeah, that's extremely unlucky, or poor judgment, perhaps. Depending how you look at it.
Yeah, it's a difficult. It's not an easy place to defend these 6 because of the 2 small islands. It can be very tricky. You have to hold it with ships, really. But we see that tier 2 factory coming out from Master here, possibly a bit late, really, considering that his tree economy would have really helped boost the creation of that factory. But unfortunately, the trees, they are gone.
One time use only.
Yes.
Oh, here we are. This is an interesting little bit of play over here. Kiwi has actually got his commander out there in the middle. Instead of sending over a fabricated Pelican, he's just marched on over there all by himself.
Well, it looks like he basically built a bridge of naval factories over to the island. Just finished that. So right, now I'm onto the land. Phase 2 of the plan.
What's phase 2?
Air, by the looks of it. He needs to do. He's moving to counter the air presence that Master has right now with his bombers, which is really causing his navy some problems because it's got very heavy orcas, and
they're not very good, of course, at dealing with planes.
No, not so much. Not so much with the anti-plane. And anyway, yes, he's very committed to his orca play. Lots of orcas, some supporting barracudas.
I feel that could be a bit of a mistake, considering the versatile nature of Master's naval forces, and his air as well.
I think that's a good combination. As long as you own the air, there's really no need for the narwhal. The narwhal is not as effective as anti-air as a hummingbird. And
Kiwi does not own the air, though.
No, but he's made. That's I think why his commander building up these air factories. He's making a push into the air. You see him starting to build up a hummingbird force now. I think he's going to be relying on, and there's not really many bombers from Master anyway. He also is committing to hummingbirds to try and take the air. And as long as no one's building bombers, then it's not too much to worry about, really. If you go all narwhals against someone who's going all orcas, you're going to lose badly.
This is true. And Kiwi is still managing to maintain this eco lead. Very impressively, actually, I must say.
Yeah, he's maintaining eco leads, maintaining a unit lead, a slight factory lead. He's doing very well.
But I'm interested to see what he does with it, of course, because we've got the T2 naval factory now completed by Master. And that's going to start pumping out. What have we got here? A Leviathan. Leviathans are nasty, nasty, nasty things to have to fight against because they have got so much range and they've got 3 of those cannons, and the huge spread means that they can just sit there and pummel you from a distance, and there is nothing you can do short of just getting stuck in there and getting up close and personal with them.
We see here that I think the Master making a mistake by coming straight in with his orcas there and losing rather convincingly in what was actually in fact a relatively even confrontation, but because Kiwi losing there because Kiwi came straight on, Master went with the broadsides, and Master came out far better in that confrontation, though retreated his orcas rather unnecessarily, and he's going to lose some mechs off the back of that.
Although this orca now doing some fantastic work, just trying to take out some more metal extractors. Is he going to do it in time? Oh, he's done it.
Yeah, I don't know why Master retreated there. He had 2 orcas to the 1 orca. He could have just finished off that fight.
He's now lost a metal extractor. Now, actually, Kiwi's almost got double the economy of Master at this stage. He's been doing some very, very good orca raiding so far.
Well, he's now moving on to Tech 2 as well, although he's kind of be stalling, so it's quite a bold move. I think he may have... Let's see if he's scouted this... he has. He's seen the tier 2 factory of Master, so he knows he has to get stuck in. Because if your opponent goes T2 and you haven't got a T2 presence, you could really be in trouble. And the first Leviathan is in fact coming off the production line now.
Firing as it comes out of the gate. Oh my goodness me.
It's a beautiful thing. I think the
It is an
Leviathan,
absolutely lovely unit.
it's almost a psychological weapon though, because it's quite easy to kill a Leviathan. It's in terms of metal trade, it actually only trades about evenly for its metal worth, but it's terrifying to see it fire because it's out there in the fog of war somewhere.
If you had to call it, who would you say is winning at this point?
Kiwi.
Yeah?
I think Kiwi's winning. Like he's got a substantial economy lead. I don't think that he's got a substantial economy lead, huge advantage. He's now raiding the land of Master. He's going to take out all these mechs, and that Leviathan's just one ship. It's not enough. I think if I were Kiwi, I'd be perhaps I'd be moving off these orcas and into more barracudas, because the Leviathan can't do anything against barracudas. But other than that, Kiwi's bringing up his own tier 2, so he's only going to be he's only going to be about a ship and a half behind.
And he's got the more build power there, and he's actually always going straight for an advanced fabricating ship. So he's going for the eco again rather than the military presence. He's comfortable enough that he doesn't need a Leviathan of his own just yet. He's going straight for that again.
Yeah, well, the tier 2, the real power of tier 2 naval is the tier 2 eco, because then you can put so much into your production.
And actually, you can see that
give you a substantial advantage.
That's exactly what Master is doing as well. He's actually building a fabrication ship now as we speak. But he really needs that eco. Master really needs that eco because he's really far behind now.
Well, you look at the
really
efficiency he's operating. So he's not only behind in eco, but he's operating at half the production efficiency that Kiwi is, and he's only got one fabber out there. I think at this point it's over, and he just doesn't realise it yet.
And oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Go for a Kraken. That will be
release the Kraken.
That will that will be an interesting manoeuvre. I'm really not sure how strong the Kraken is again. Oh, in actual fact, Master really calling the GG, denying us the opportunity to see a Kraken in action, which is all too rare.
Oh.
So the first game of this best of 5 final goes to Killer Kiwi Juice. So congratulations to him. But it is best of 5, so it's not over until one of these players has won 3 games.
Or till the fat lady sings.
Yes, or until the fat lady sings. Whatever your preferred, I don't know, metaphor is. But we will be picking up game 2 over on Duet. But let's take a look at this and see where it all went wrong.
I don't think there's any one moment that I would say this is where Netsuno lost this game. I think it was a slow and steady case of Kiwi starting on the back foot, but then managing to really sort of build up, escalate, take mechs, destroy mechs, and just keep pushing. It was very, very gradual demise, I think, for Neptuno there. Yeah,
he just got worn down. I'm not sure if it's his timing with this tier 2 may have been unfortunate, when perhaps what he really needed was just to keep pushing his tier 1 advantage. I feel that he wasted his tree economy. He went with a combat fabber, he had huge production, and every time he grabbed a tree he went blue. He never put those trees into production. And really, he might have just been better off. Maybe at that point he should just race tier 2 straight away. Use that tree economy to try and power out a very quick Leviathan or tier 2 economy, and then make a comeback. I'm really not sure. It's like you said, it's a tough one to call. It was very close early on.
I would have, for the first 5 minutes, I would have said that Master had that. But then Kiwi just carried on, and he carried on, expanding, and just slowly, by attrition, Tuna just couldn't keep up with him.
I think so. I think it just came out of the fact that Kiwi's fabbers were everywhere. So every time Master would make an attack, fabbers were expanding in all sorts of different places, and Master just couldn't shut down the expansions fast enough. Master was going for a real hard push down the centre, and Kiwi just went out to the flanks, took the islands. He took every island, in fact, and expanded to all of them, and Master just didn't have a presence there. And he never really used his air advantage. He had an air advantage for a substantial part of the game, but he spent most of it building more hummingbirds to just try and keep that advantage, and then let his bombers get picked off by Kiwi. Just unfortunate, really. It really felt like they could have gone and to either of them until about 10 minutes in, at which point Kiwi really starts to pull ahead. And I think I do feel that tier 2 factory was a mistake. Master is stalling so hard at that point in the game. He's down to like 30% efficiency. He just couldn't afford that factory.
I think he could have been pumping out, rather than investing in that factory, he could have been reducing more decisive military units. So the Leviathan was nice, but as you said, it is much more of a psychological tool. It is lovely to see that thing firing, and it's really disheartening for your opponents to come up against it. But in terms of raw damage output, it's not as spectacular as it looks.
Well,
and it's certainly not the game ender that he needed it to be.
I'm just sad that we didn't get an opportunity to see the Kraken in action. It's you see the Leviathan all the time. You don't see the Kraken that often. I would have liked to see how it did going up against that Navy.
It would have been nice, but these things happen. Unfortunately, I think we all knew how that game was going to go.
No, I don't think we should accept it at all. Boo, boo. That's what I say. So I say to that.
I agree.
I want to see the Kraken. I want to hear you breaking out bad movie references on a more regular basis.
But I do that all the time.
Obviously, it's too high art for me.